Welcome to The 48 Rules of Retirement. Today we examine retirement rule number 32, be sexually inventive. Woody Allen, American actor, author, filmmaker, comedian, playwright, and musician asked, "Is sex dirty?" And replied, "Only if it's done right." As you may have heard from men who have gone before you, when you age, the part in your brain that makes you think of sex speeds up. Unfortunately, the part of you that controls your hormones correspondingly slows down. This leads to a pneumatic problem for men, best described by the NASA phrase, "Houston, we have a problem." I have discovered some radical approaches to sex based upon modern technology. I was particularly interested in a conversation I overheard in a coffee shop the other day. Two men in their 20s were engaged in an animated exchange on the topic of cyber sex. I was intrigued. I had heard the term mentioned before, and based on the enthusiasm of the two young men, I decided to explore its meaning. I looked at my computer. It's old like me. There were slots for floppies and CDs. Neither seemed promising. I couldn't imagine any young man resorting to the floppy, so that had to be eliminated. Besides, floppy in itself seemed much too flaccid a descriptor. I figured that cyber sex had something to do with my hard drive. Men always brag about their hard drives. Some hard drives are so big that they control the entire NASA erectile system. I wonder how women respond to the question of hard drives. Do they prefer compact, efficient devices or the large, heavy-duty variety? I will let you in on a secret. I have discovered that as my computer ages, my hard drive crashes a lot more than it used to. No doubt, the folks at Webster's Dictionary will invent a term to describe this predicament, cybersexus interruptus, or some such appellation. It strikes me that young people don't have the same opportunities that we once enjoyed for romance. Remember etchings? Can you imagine saying to an attractive lady, "So, would you care to come over to my place and interface? I'd like to show you my hard drive." I searched everywhere for the sex drive on my unit. Evidently, I had purchased a computer without one. I looked in all the folders, the add, uninstall software, the control panel. I retrieved the manuals. Nothing. Obviously, I needed an add-on that they sell in those kinky shops that specialize in sex. The saleslady with bright orange hair and a nose stud seemed perplexed. I gave her the make and model of my computer. I whispered, "Do you have sex drives in this store?" She scowled and asked me to leave. "Madam, I'm not trying to be fresh. I need a sex drive," I persisted. "So does my husband," she replied. "Him too. Maybe we could get a deal on a bulk purchase?" I suggested. She called the manager. "Just one question," I said as I was escorted out of the store by a tattooed guy in a leather vest. "Where does your husband work?" "He works for Microsoft." "Ouch," I exclaimed in sympathy. "Can we get back to sex?" "Yes, of course. Some say that as you age, your libido wanes. Depending on what a libido is, this is not necessarily true." I entered the public library, wearing sunglasses and a trench coat. I was attending my first writing workshop on Erotica, conducted by a young lady from Toronto. She was blonde with compulsory bright red lipstick. She wore tight black leather pants and a green velour top. Kinky big city Torontonian, I thought. What am I doing here? Immediately, we did a go-around. 14 aspiring erotica writers introduced themselves. I used my erotic pen name, Mike Guccione, and revealed that I was from the autoerotic town of Viagra on the Lake. "What's the difference between pornography and erotica?" our instructor asked. I stared downwards as in high school when unsure of an answer. She launched into her program and soon, people were alternately turning pale, fainting and leaving the room. One lady protested that she was at the wrong meeting. She thought that it was a Chamber of Commerce gathering. Nevertheless, she decided to stay. Our leader read one of her published erotic short stories, and then she suggested that we all try writing erotica there and then. I'm not quite ready for Penthouse magazine yet, but I will share my efforts with you. I recommend that you keep it out of the reach of impressionable grandchildren. My erotica assignment is called Watching. The room was dimly lit. A few men wearing baseball caps spoiled my view. I pushed forward. I paid my money. Like the others, I was entitled to observe every lurid detail. I glimpsed her pink body gently swaying in a suggestive, enticing dance that fixed his macho attention. He lingered only a few feet away. Lured by the seduction of her ambrosia, the exotic smell and her suggestive motion, He softly slid up beside her, their naked, pink bodies now within easy touch. She feigned a saucy annoyance, her space usurped. He quickly moved closer to touch her. He was bold, aggressive, aroused, oblivious to the crowd of onlookers and eager to have his way. Oh, I think it's about to happen, whispered the guy in front of me wearing a Toronto Blue Jays cap. When I was in Florida, I saw one over 12 inches long, whispered the St. Louis Cardinal, trying to impress his friends. Why are these men so caught up with size, I wondered. Technique is far more important. Where I come from, they average 2 inches, said the Blue Jay. I felt vindicated. Meanwhile, at the front of the room, Romeo had placed his thick arms around Juliet, holding her tight. My view remained obscured. There was an embarrassing sucking sound. What were they doing? On the Pacific coast, they get up to 15 feet, said the St. Louis Cardinal. Goodness, I thought. They must force feed them steroids to get that big, literally cram them down their throats. The large male loomed over her. She could feel his arms darting, sliding and slipping all over her flushed body. So many arms. She counted 5, 6, 7, 8. Her skin blushed a reddish hue. She twisted away. Again, that strange sucking sound like at the dentist. Suddenly, the tank turned black as she escaped with a jet blast of ink, darting to the safety of the rocks. Boo! Shouted the Cardinal from St. Louis. It's hard to breed animals in a zoo, I thought. Nonetheless, feeling slightly stirred by the octopus antics, I made my way towards the monkey hut. If you need some help in the sex education domain, here are some sex books worth reading. Alternate Uses for Kitchen Mixmasters, by B. Crocker. The Microscopic Joy of Organisms, by L. Pasteur. Kinky Mutations, by C. Darwin. Group Phone Sex, by T. Edison and A. Bell. Today's retired affirmation. To be successful and accepted by others, I must learn to make it look like I'm giving as much as I'm getting. Get ready for retirement rule number 33, soon to come. Thanks for watching.